This week, ladies and gentlemen, on Reliving the Extreme, we will be discussing the star of this show, Mr. Chad Austin's first televised appearance on ECW TV against Jimmy Snuka. We're going to get there, but first, welcome everyone to Reliving the Extreme. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And of course, Chad is also here with us. How's it going, Chad?
I'm still nursing my wounds from that match with Snuka.
I am too. I'm feeling for you having watched that match. I'm nursing my own wounds at this point.
Well, I'm looking at the notes that I got, and I'm looking how far down the match that I had was on the show, and I was trying to go like, well, maybe I was the semi-main, and then I look, well, no, maybe I was the attraction match. No, that was intermission. No, here's the well, there's the guy that put the ring up. I saw him wrestle after me. So I was right around like one of the first two matches.
And
like on the show.
And then no good lousy son of a bitch Joey Styles didn't even mention your match in his intro either. He went over every single match except yours, that son of a bitch.
Underlining heat, man. Joey had it in for me from the beginning.
Oh my God. All right, folks, we are reviewing the episode of ECW from October the 19th, 1993 this week. And before that, I do want to encourage you, please do follow us on Twitter at Reliving Extreme and join our Facebook group. Aaron just gave away free shit on our Facebook group this past week to a lucky winner. Who was the winner of your tournament?
John Wilson.
Don Wilson or John Wilson?
John.
I think it was Baron von Maxon. I think that's who wins his tournaments.
John Wilson happens to have the same address as Aaron. Go figure.
Of course.
Go figure. free shipping though. It's free.
Are you sure it wasn't Jim Wilson, the guy from the 2020 thing? Or John Stossel?
Or Rick Wilson? Oh wait. He's dead. All right. Anyway. We start off here October 19th, 1993 with a little snippet from a promo we're going to see later on from Paulie Dangerously about starting his new Dangerous Alliance. There's going to be a angle going on here mid-ring, and then Joey Styles runs down the show, what's going to be on the show, excluding the Chad Austin match.
Well, what did you think about that? Because obviously that was something that didn't really last a whole lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that was cool? Did you like that the way Joey
I liked
Styles
it.
was gonna...
I did. Yeah. Little hype up, to get you hyped up for the show, what you're going to see on the show, instead of just the cold open or the video with Ivan Koloff in it and then Jay Sully. I thought it was cool. It was a cool addition to the show.
It was, and it wasn't Eddie Gilbert handing him just trinkets that he found laying around the fucking studio.
Right, yeah.
Some paper clips.
Here's some licorice.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought that it was probably the first time he did it, so I could see some room for improvement. But I kind of liked it in a sense. But the way they do their TV, it's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to follow their format because I'm not even sure that the show went off the way they said it was going to go off. I mean,
well, there's a match early or later on in the show. We'll get to it, but there's a match later on in the show where they hype up a match for next week, and then they air it on the show, or they air some of it on the show. But
I got a note about that. I know exactly where you're going.
We will cross that bridge when we get to it. First, we get, and I didn't mean this to dog them. I just wrote down Public Enemy dumpster promo. Wasn't trying to allude to the fact that their promo was trash or anything, but they cut a small promo on Paul Diamond and Pat Tanaka in front of a dumpster, and that's what we roll into, guys. Public Enemy versus Tanaka and Diamond.
Well, I wrote on paper this looks bad because it looks bad for several reasons, because they don't know that there's probably going to be an angle involved in this at some point, right? Mm-hmm. So they're working like Paul and Pat are working like it's an independent show match, and it's not, don't have like the heat behind it. And I was just like, that's why on paper it looked bad. If Paul would have knew where he was going then and said, look, this is what I need, a little bit of fire. I need you to shine up, Johnny, right, and Rocco. and they could have gotten legs out of this, but I just don't think they realized where they were going to go yet, because the way Paulie booked stuff, he probably didn't plan on not paying Diamond and Tanaka, until later on. Like, not paying them, not telling them I'll give you, not saying you'll have your money by then, but going, I don't have your money. Then he fucks him later on down the road. I don't think he planned on it happening coming as quick as it did.
Mm-hmm. I actually kind of the same thing. Like, my notes on the match, first of all, it was too long. Like, the match was, it was too long, and I wrote down indie goofy comedy and kind of boring. Like, it like Chad said, it was like an indie match. Like, they weren't wrestling like they were trying to get anywhere with the match,
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was just gonna say that's what I had in my notes, was that it was way too long. And then when Pat Tanaka finally gets his first big tag, he comes in and he was like wholeheartedly expecting people to pop and cheer for him, and he gets in there and does that shit, and everybody's just looking at him, and that kind of made me laugh.
They did a classic. Not only was it a classic independent spot, it even has a name for it. They did a classic Tennessee spot. Have you ever heard what the Tennessee spot is?
No.
The Tennessee spot is like when on a regular generic indie show, they lock up, the heel will hip toss the babyface, and then he showcases and brags. They lock up, and then the heel arm drags the babyface. Babyface goes like, "Wow, that's not bad. Okay, good." Then they circle around, heel gets over, and then they lock up again, and then the heel body slams the babyface. And then when the babyface gets tired of the showboating, on the next lockup, they set up the spot where the babyface does all three spots to the heel in one spot. It becomes the hip toss, arm drag, body slam.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it to both Tanaka and Diamond. So he had like the East Coast, West Coast Tennessee spot. He was in Knoxville on Tanaka, and he drove all the way to Memphis for a Diamond. So I was just like, that's a classic. That was a classic Tennessee spot, and that's so like indie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this, that was when I got my whole when I realized this was indie-rific, but I thought physically Diamond looked all right.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a couple of decent moves that I didn't think he was going to even try. And Tanaka, I never expected anything out of Tanaka from the beginning. So anything he did in that match to me was a bonus.
He even does like these. Those of you watching along will know what I'm talking about. But him and Ted Petty do a silly little karate, kicking spot with the leg sweep, and just lots of I don't know, goofy stuff in this match. That, again, like we said, with an angle coming up, if Tanaka and Diamond would have been keen to it, they may have wrestled a different match with these guys, for sure.
If they would have just known like where this was going.
Mm-hmm. I have down here also. I guess this would have been the spot that Aaron was talking about. All I put is hot tag, not a hot crowd. That's what I put. It did
not give a shit.
No, Aaron said they just looked at Pat Tanaka like, "Hey, that's the Orient Express guy. Look at him standing there in his pajamas."
Which guy was the Orient Express guy, Pat Tanaka or Paul Diamond?
Hey yo!
There was like, wait a minute, the other guy's the Orient Express guy, because his buddy's going, "Hey, that's the guy from the Orient Express," and then his buddy goes, "No, that's the guy from the Orient Express."
And overall, an indie finish to this one too. I think that also during this match, I noticed, and if you guys think I'm off base, but Joey, this match wasn't doing Public Enemy any favors, because as the match is going on, Joey is selling Public Enemy as this rough and tough, hardcore tag team, but his commentary in the match does not match up with what we're seeing in the match from these guys. If what I'm saying makes sense.
No, you're right. I can't believe these guys made parole to get here tonight.
Yeah.
Really? He just got hip tossed by Pat Tanaka or whatever.
Yeah, they played footsie and then he tripped him. Yeah.
Yeah, where are these street toughs that you're trying to have me believe? And how are they taking them out like yesterday's garbage? When
Yeah.
they can't even finish get over in a spot with them.
Anything else on this one, guys? Aaron?
Just that I know losing the star power of like a Glenn Osborne and Larry Winters and the Super D's means you got to bring in new stars and try to build talent. And I understand that, but bad company is not that.
It's like when Vince lost Hogan, man. I'm telling you.
Oh. Yeah, it's right up there. Yeah. I mean, I was shocked that they put over Bad Company in the sense that from the way that the Bob Ortiz kept announcing how much time was elapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he said 2 minutes and 46 seconds has gone by. Jesus Christ. It was like, it was
what do we
like,
we work
the Kenny Omega thing.
I was just say we work in the drive-thru at McDonald's. We're keeping that good a time here.
But yeah, I would have thought they would have went to a time limit draw, just based upon knowing how long they stretched this out till. They stretched this out till December.
Mm-hmm.
This program lasted until Holiday Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't believe that they already beat Public Enemy that quick. I didn't see what the logic was, A time limit draw would have been much more suffice to me.
Johnny Grunge accidentally hits Rocco Rock, and the other thing I noticed, I know I keep harping on this match, and we're going, but Paul Diamond after pretty much after his last tag into the match, and he starts getting his heat back on the heels or whatever, completely stops selling the leg that he was selling for the majority of the match. I noticed that too, but overall,
there's just too much of that in wrestling, just period.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is because the guys aren't given enough time.
Yeah,
that's how you end that. Instead of just bitching about it and going, why didn't Darby Allin sell that ankle more Wednesday night? Why? Because the match was only given 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what I mean? How much?
Yeah.
What can you do?
What can you do? You have to sell the entire match. So that happened, and then Sal Balomo's not gone yet because he's in the playground.
Yes,
why was this so long?
we get a frightening glimpse into the madness that is Big Sal the pedo. This is how he gets his children to trust him, and then you don't want to see what happened when the camera went off. That's all I can.
I don't think they were his kids.
No.
They were alluding to the fact that they were his kids, but I don't think they were his kids.
No.
I couldn't have popped any bigger when I don't know whose idea it was to put on the graphic that they say that it was Sal Balomo's home movies.
Yeah.
Like somebody leaked them out like it was the Hogan tape. Like and somebody called Paul and go, guess what I got? What's that? I got Sal Balomo home movies. I'm gonna sue
TMZ. I'm gonna sue TMZ.
They're gonna have me with the kids. Because at one point, didn't the kids try to turn heel on him?
Yeah, they tried to take his glasses and his hat. Yeah. But this is all.
Even the kids that don't like a Balomo.
This is like 2.5 minutes of just footage of Sal Balomo playing with random kids in a random park in Philadelphia
with creepy ass piano music over it. It's like, this is creepy. This is creepy.
See, like, I don't know if the shows they've aired previously had them, but some of the shows that aired, like the regular ones that I have, like Todd used to do like a show like once a year for this kids charity group, and he would run an ad for it during the show. And in one of the clips of the commercial, they would have the Sandman sitting there with a kid, like laughing and like joking with him. You know what I mean? I think that was footage from like that year's like picnic. It was because it's the way that Todd did it. He'd put a ring up in a park somewhere, and of course he would spare no expense in bringing in talent like Hot Body Stetson, Chris Michaels, and the Super Destroyers. And
maybe that football guy we saw the barbecue with Eddie Gilbert a few months ago, whatever his name was, Thunderfoot or some shit. Anyway.
Well, I thought we brought this up on the show before because Gilbert worked one of them shows. Didn't we get over that?
Yeah, that was they featured that on a show. Like that was remember that was like the majority of the show the one time that we watched. It was just terrible. Sal's like running around, like plotting, running around this parking lot or this park, going down the slide. He's on the carousel.
The little car that has the spring underneath it.
Yeah, he was on the springy car thing. This was a debacle, folks.
It's inappropriate.
Inappropriate. Yeah. All I wanted to see was a certain tape trader from Pennsylvania show up in the background.
What the RF are you talking about? Don't
worry, everything's fine. I'm just kidding.
We get a crylon at the end here that says, "Get well soon, Sal," from your friends at ECW.
Yeah, and they also, Sal. I also forgot to mention it said, "Daddy, we love you." At the beginning of the video, it says, "Daddy, we love you. We don't need a TV star for a father. We just need a daddy." You're like, well, don't worry, kids. You don't have a TV star for a father, so you're good.
It's a good thing you didn't. It's a good thing it wasn't right around Christmas where you were wishing for a TV star for a father. Because you got Sal Balomo. He wasn't even a playground star. I saw one of them kids kick him in his shins. Yeah, that was funny. That was just a good waste of time. Because I mean, because they were setting up the next spot. I mean,
yes, the next match. Here we go, folks. It is Chad Austin versus Superfly Jimmy Snuka on ECW. And Chad, you started talking about this show or this match one time on one of our We Can't Wrestle podcast episodes. That was the one, if you guys remember, where my computer crashed while we were doing the show. So that was fun. And we never got to finish the story. So I guess we'll get the whole story of Chad Austin's match with Jimmy Snuka here on ECW TV.
I mean, I remember doing the show with you guys. I forgot about the computer crashing. But I was actually going to what they call lay out for this and just get roasted. That's what I had like pretty much written down. Like, I'm just going to sit here and just take the beating. It was my worst match ever. The worst match I was ever in. And it was just for several reasons. Like there's no way you could have made me look any worse in that match. Because like I came from dinner just a little couple minutes ago or an hour ago, and I was telling Jessica about how today was me and Snuka match, and I was like, they're gonna kill me over this, right? And she knows Jimmy Snuka and the big Superfly leap, and me going, all right, Mr. Snuka, I'm working you tonight, and I can't wait. I mean, for the Superfly splash, and he goes, no, brother. I was like, okay, TV match, probably gonna wrestle later. And he goes, I was like, oh, headbutt from the middle rope. No, brother. All right, well, you're gonna give me at least a leapfrog chop. No, brother. And I literally said, how are you gonna beat me? He's suplex, brother. I said, you're gonna beat me with a suplex? Yeah. And I was just like, oh. So obviously, you could tell that I couldn't wait to get out there.
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah. How exuberant were you about that?
That was about the extent of me and him talking over our match. I mean, everything he did to me, he didn't even have to call.
Yeah. The couple of notes that I put was, how long is Jimmy just going to fuck with his boots and just make you stand there and wait for him to start, doing whatever, like he's just fucking with his boots. Then jaw jacking the referee. The kick to the stomach looked like it probably hurt a little bit. He was a little snug on that one.
Nothing hurt.
Oh, really? That kick to the I thought that kick to the stomach he gave you looked kind of snug to me.
Well, maybe it hurt my pride. You guys just couldn't see it. God, I felt like the biggest putz laying there. Because I'm laying there thinking like, I know this is bad, so I don't even have to wait to see this. Because I feel like, how long have I been laying here for him to walk around the ring and adjust his wrist tape.
Yeah.
And, and jaw jack. And I'm like, you gave me a little punch to the midsection or whatever, or whatever. Like, come on, man. It was embarrassing. And I don't know. I hope, I think I did. I don't know about you guys, but I thought I did a great job of hitting the ropes.
I also
when Snooker threw me in and I kind of sprung off them ropes.
I also put he obviously didn't give a shit about your well-being when he dropped you on that power bomb. That was dick move. That was a dick move. Aaron, your notes on Chad's match here? I just was watching, going, God damn, Jimmy Snuka, what an asshole.
Yeah, I just put I can't believe there was no on-screen introduction for the internationally known Chad Austin. I don't agree with that.
Well, it did air in certain markets. I did have generic music. It was only in the Dundalk, Maryland market that there was an alternate entrance. Yeah.
I wrote down what the fuck was with that powerbomb pile driver spot. Jimmy Snuka needs to go away. Like, he just needs to leave. Like, nobody wants Jimmy Snuka in ECW anymore. Like, he needs to just go away.
I couldn't have taken that buckle any harder either, based upon how far I had to run without his pushing me. Like, I'm like, how hard should I hit this buckle? Because he didn't because that's a big ring, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He should have gave me 2 steps out or 2.5 steps out push, but he kind of just brought me out of the corner and set me on my way. And I'm thinking, like, how hard should I hit the buckle as I'm just trotting across the ring? Like, how hard did he really throw me? Did I, And I was like, fuck it. I've already gotten killed here, so I might as well hit the buckle pretty fucking hard. Oh my God, it was a shame. And I don't even remember I couldn't even believe that he gave me a slingshot suplex where he took the bump with me, because I don't even remember that. I thought he just picked me up like the power bomb and walked out from underneath of me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that he the actual slingshot spots where he would have had to have gotten up to put his foot on me.
Yeah, the slingshot was that's the finish, folks. The slingshot suplex by Jimmy Snuka on Chad Austin.
I couldn't get my foot up. I couldn't get my shoulder off the mat with his foot on me.
Yeah, Jimmy Snuka, he's moved into the like Kevin Sullivan, Abdullah the Butcher mode land here. Just doesn't need to be around.
Needs to go away. Yeah,
go away.
I'm just glad Joey Styles called me one of the young lions here in ECW. I didn't notice that. Yeah,
he didn't put you over at the beginning of the show, but he put you over in this segment.
Well, he had to do something, because Snuka was just burying me out there. like they always say, like, if you talk shit about your opponent in a promo when you say he's worthless, then when you beat him, who did you beat?
Right.
So at least Joey Styles is going, Chad's a gamer. He's 100%, whatever. Just not tonight.
Well, that was that. Jimmy Snuka, Chad Austin, and Jimmy not being very nice. Here, I'll put that politically. Next, Jay Sully is still around, and he is in the ECW newsroom here. Which I assume is supposed to be like their event center or something. I don't know,
but with his big stupid glasses and everything, he looks worse. Looks worse than he's ever looked.
Damn.
Bad Penny Sully. That's what I'm gonna start calling it. Fucker always keeps showing up.
He's a bad penny.
Yeah, he don't even know that he don't work there. He's just filming stuff at his house.
He just shows up.
And Paul's is wondering, like, how he's going to fill a few minutes.
It's like the guy on the Office Space that has been off the payroll
Milton.
for 2. Yeah, Milton. He's been off the payroll for 2 years and still keeps coming to work every day.
Yeah,
so now
I'm not. I could have just said whatever. I even stole a line out of Asuka Ember Moon from like Takeover from like 5 years ago, where they said that you're going to wrestle Ember Moon at Takeover, and Asuka said, "She's still working?" Because I literally wrote, "Sully's still working?"
Sully's still working? He's discussing Polly Dangerously and the new Dangerous Alliance is Mr. Sully. We go to an interview with Joey Styles and Paul Lee in the ring with Shane Douglas, which they're now referring to Shane Douglas as the franchise, not what was it, Superstar Shane Douglas. So
Fabulous one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fabulous,
Shane Douglas. Yes, that was it. Shane's referring to himself now as the franchise. Paulie introduces the new director of covert operations for the Dangerous Alliance, replacing Medusa, of course, Sherry Martel. But this doesn't go down the way that Paulie expects it to go down, I guess, as Sully gives his he's so weaselly. Like, I don't know, watching him on the thing talking about Paulie and getting his comeuppance and all that. It's like, you know what, Sully, you're a little weasel, or a big weasel, a big-faced weasel. But that's when we go back. Sully takes us back into this interview, and Paulie introduces Sabu as another new member to the Dangerous Alliance, but Douglas has an issue with that, as he did not, quote unquote, consult with Paulie on that situation, and it breaks down for Paulie.
Why do you think? I mean, let me rephrase this. Paulie had to have a reason why obviously it was to get Sabu away from Hunter P.U. Robbins and manage him. But why do you think he thought that it'd be interesting to have an angle with Shane and Sabu about him not being happy about it? Like that soon in the inception of Dangerous Alliance. Do you guys have a theory on that? Like,
but I actually have on my notes that this, although the players I think are better, et cetera, this feels like an AEW angle, because, and the reason I say that is because in one night you've already done A and B in the whole angle. You know what I mean? Like it just feels so rushed, you know, like Cody and MJF should have been a year-long thing, and it was 3 months. And that's how I feel about this. It feels like it should have strung out a little longer. Literally 10 minutes after they tell you they're business partners, now they don't want to be business partners anymore.
Yeah, and how many times are they going to bring Sherry out? Like, how many times does she have to audition for this job? I don't. Like, she's been introduced since Freddie Gilbert was still around. They just keep bringing her out to manage people. And it's like, oh, well, of course, they keep bringing in Sherry. I just thought it was weird. I just thought it was weird.
And each time they act like she hadn't been there before.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, oh, Sherry Martel's here. They're like, well, kind of old hat now. I mean,
I'm surprised Joey didn't say, rumor has it that she lives in Philadelphia now. To save Paul the money on trans. That's why you're going to see her for a few months. But I just thought it was weird. Like, why did they went all out to tell you about the new Dangerous Alliance, unless that's the way Paul booked the angle, to make it seem like it was going to be big things popping, little things stopping. And then, you know, he just decided he was going to squash it all in one angle. I don't know. I just thought, like you said, it was A and B all in the same segment.
Mm-hmm. And so we get Shane doesn't want Sabu to be in this Dangerous Alliance, apparently. And then Sherry, I mean, regardless of what we just said about Sherry and the way she's being booked, as always, she's great in this segment, lighting Paulie up and giving him the business as only Sherry can. But yeah, definitely very rushed. But yeah, she's screaming at Paulie and trying to slap him around. And then we kind of cut to now this one. I have something here about Willie Scoop Watts. Unless you guys have something more on that in-ring segment. I didn't want to cut anybody off.
I just like the way that when Paulie realized everything went south, and he went from calling Sherry like the greatest and hottest like female wrestler of all time, he started calling her a broad.
Broad, yeah.
I was like, All right, well, that fucking ship has sailed. Now I'm a fucking heel and you're abroad. What are you going to do about it? That kind of was funny to me. Like, Jesus.
So now we go back to Jay Sully, who tells us that the Dangerous Alliance is in a no press allowed room having an argument. Of course they are. And but Maddie in the house, man, his Maddie cam. Aaron's shaking his head. I couldn't wait for Maddie to start appearing more often because of Aaron's disdain for Maddie in the house.
I'm shaking my head because I'm reading my notes as well.
Maddie in the house is over here with the illegitimate son of Bill Watts, Willie Watts.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know Mr. Watts personally, but I don't think Bill Watts has a black illegitimate son. If he did, he'd probably WCW would still be around.
Willie Scoop Watts is the name of this character who is as awkward as shit standing in front of this doorway.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out who this guy is. Somebody, we have to dig this up and find out who the hell. Who do you think he was?
Oh,
I told you I think he is.
yeah. I'm just telling you. Dude, if that ever got out, oh, jeez, like, you think he was somebody who just worked there?
probably, yeah. Probably a grip or something, just a camera guy or something like that. Just some dude. Your name's Willie Scoop Watts. What's your name, Willie? What's your last name? Watts. You got the scoop. You're Willie Scoop Watts.
I didn't even want to entertain the thought that because of the last name, I was just like, I'm not even going to entertain the thought that it possibly I could insert a Bill Watts joke. I'm just like, there's no way. Yeah. Do you think that was his real name?
No, that's doubtful.
There's something there, right?
I'm gonna have to do some research on this. I didn't have time today, guys. Sorry, to find out the scoop on Willie Watts, as it would be. Willie's outside
That's the best part of the show is that you said that he could have been Bill Watts as illegitimate. Fuck! Oh my god, you're killing me with that one.
The name of this show, Paternity Test. That's going to be the name of this show. So Willie is outside the Dangerous Alliance's locker room as they are arguing inside, and I understood what he was trying to say, but he says, and I quote, "I can't go in there because of my own personal health." What, does this guy have the flu?
Well, maybe Bill Watts was in there. That could have been ugly.
Oh, lordy. Hearing anything else on this segment?
Yeah,
no.
We talked about this at length about how the doors are just doors.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing going on. And at one point when he does open the door, you hear Paulie go, "Sherry, there's no reason to get physical." Like, I'm expecting to believe that Sabu's in that room, and I don't hear like the walls caving in. Like, and how? No wonder Shane didn't want to have Sabu around in the group because Shane wants to sit around and talk strategy, like whatever. And you got Sabu just throwing shit around, like right in the middle of them planning their
Who let him off his goddamn gurney?
Yeah, they kept saying, "Keep him locked up, keep him locked up." Like, because if he was in a locker room, he's just going to grab the table that they're sitting at writing on. He's going to break it. Like, no wonder Shane doesn't want him around. Yeah, that was just a weird. That the whole entire thing was. Here's what I think it may have been. Paul had an idea, and then he had a better idea.
Yeah.
How about I just run with Sabu?
definitely got him on. Oh, I didn't even mention that, but we definitely have the official, like we've been talking about. We got this guy away from Hunter Q. Robbins, by the way. Didn't mention that. I don't know that it needed to be mentioned, but you saw that happen this week too. No more Hunter Q with
No, we have Hunter Q, but not with
Sabu.
With
Well,
his staples.
After the scoop segment here, Maddie in the house is standing by with Jason Knight, who is now just Jason.
That's terrible.
It's awful. And this was awful. And he says, who are you going to be managing in ECW? I'm going to be managing to wear this suit perfectly, or whatever the hell he said. It was so dumb.
No, I liked everything that Jason did.
Jason's awesome.
Jason was doing his gimmick. It was Maddie that every question he asked him, and Jason avoided. He goes,
yeah,
like that's silly.
He's like if DDP got brain damage.
Oof.
That's
Again?
what man.
Oh, I didn't know you can get it twice.
Yeah, that's what Maddie will be. If it's just Maddie is just terrible. He's annoying, and it's not. He doesn't even serve a purpose. Like was Sully great at his job? No, but he served a purpose.
Nope.
Like he had a reason, whether it was a good reason. He had a reason for being there. Maddie serves no fucking purpose, except he probably got Paulie good cope. That's the only thing he does.
Yeah, I just wrote bad. I didn't even want to go much further than to say that I thought Jason did a good job, but then it was bad. But I just couldn't wait to get past the next fucking segment. Jesus.
The next segment is the ECW Tag Team Champions, Johnny Hotbody and Tony Stetson
against the Rags of Doom.
I actually have. I didn't have a name, but I actually have. They have to have some kind of gimmick about their do rags written down here. So, and we were on the same wavelength. Terry Funk is in Sandman and JT Smith's corner for this. All right, take it away, Aaron.
I was going to ask Aaron before a couple seconds ago about this match. That how we were always goofing about how many tag team tournaments they had to have a champion. They never have a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have a tag team tournament during the last commercial break?
Yeah. They have these pointless tag team title tournaments, and then the one time they have champions that remain champions for more than a night, they didn't even have a tournament to crown champions. They just handed them to them like they were a Happy Meal toy,
and they didn't even have belts.
No,
Body and Stetson didn't even have belts. Like I just thought, like when was this tournament that they won? And was it just a couple hours ago? But I couldn't wait to get through this. I like the Funk outside thing, and then I just wrote that was the positive. Stetson Hotbody versus Sandman JT with Funk outside. / This can't be good. Because what they just couldn't be good. Because Sandman's a reckless dude, and JT blows stuff. He blows up shit better than AEW does with their rings. He blows shit up, and I was just like, this is just reeks of indie wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it was all booked, But I like Funk being there, and the spot they did, I thought was great with Funk.
Yeah. The tagged, like we've mentioned on the show here before in the past few weeks that we were all fans of Tony Stetson's new look that he's got, and it's kind of his new little attitude. But putting him up with Johnny Hotbody was not good for Tony, because I don't like them as a team at all. They did stupid things during this match, like the whole spot where they were conversing in the corner, and then they just essentially let Sandman make the hot tag. They didn't even fight the hot tag.
Good thing that Paul caught that in post, and made Joey Styles cover up that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty crappy. Aaron, anything on the match in particular from you before we get to the after match angle?
Not really. It's just that it was what it was, and nothing really happened in it, and the outcome was dumb. I mean, I know you're going to tell the people what happened, and then I'll tell you why I think that's dumb.
Was Sandman Sandman winds up outside the ring, getting knocked out of the ring onto JT Smith and Terry Funk, which angers Mr. Funk. And he, excuse me, I'm sorry. Hold on. All right. Almost over this cold. I'm going to write that timestamp down so they don't hear me yakking. And Terry Funk decides he wants to whack the Sandman with a chair. And then I don't know why
he got disqualified.
Yeah,
Sandman
that's what I was about to
That's
say.
what's dumb. That's what's dumb. The angle isn't dumb, but so Sandman gets hit with a chair from a guy from outside the ring, and then they tell him he loses the match.
It was. I have the same thing written down. How did
he
Sandman
get
lose?
Yeah, I like the Funk. I like the Funk thing.
Oh, I liked it too. I liked everything except the fact that Sandman was the guy that got clocked with a chair, and then he got DQ'd. That makes no sense.
Did they ever announce that over the air?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the announcer said that they were disqualified. It wasn't just Joey Styles.
No, it was Bob Ortiz said the winners of the match by disqualification.
Okay, because
Stetson and Hot Body.
I thought maybe that didn't happen, and they just rewrote the history. You know what I mean? Okay, but yeah, if you heard it, then I believe you.
Yeah, that was silly, but the thing with Funk and the Sandman, the little angle there was effective. So now we go to, this is where we said earlier, they said during this match, they said next week, JT Smith's going to get a shot at Shane Douglas in the ECW title. Well, it's not next week. It's a segment they show later that week on the show. And we're showing the final moments of Shane Douglas and JT Smith. Apparently during the match, Douglas had been working over the leg. JT Smith's working a leg injury. Terry Funk throws in the towel for JT Smith. And JT Smith...
Remind me to never have Terry Funk as the guy in my fucking corner. Jesus, he throws in the towel like he's waiting for the bartender to give him his next beer.
I was going to say, gave up on the kid quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
And JT throws the towel back to Terry Funk, which I thought was fun. I thought that was cool. Like, no, what?
Well, that's what the babyface would have done.
Yeah, I love that. And then Funk's not happy with that either. He berates JT and then starts beating his ass with his boot. And go ahead, guys.
Well, heel Terry Funk is my favorite Terry Funk, so I'm glad we're getting the
but this is not crazy a heel Terry Funk. It's not. It doesn't turn out to be heel Terry Funk. It turns out to be he wants to mentor JT Smith Terry Funk. And JT blows it by quitting. So therefore it becomes, I mean, I know because hanging out with JT there, I know what the angle was supposed to be. Funk was supposed to mentor JT Smith. And he would have probably been the original Tommy Dreamer.
Well, I was about to say, I didn't know that. So that's why it morphed over to Tommy. Okay. See, I never knew that. A couple of weeks ago when they were talking on the mic about Terry mentoring JT Smith, I said, oh, this will eventually get transferred over to Tommy Dreamer. I didn't know it was because JT quit.
Yeah, JT just gave a notice and just rolled the hell out after they started the angle. So I guess by proxy, Terry, they had to use the footage and assume that Terry was a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think there was any payday to that. You know,
not. Okay. Well, I guess we will find out as the weeks roll on. Overall, I liked all this stuff, though, other than, like Aaron said, the little disqualification snafu, which may have even just been a snafu. I don't know. Hindsight 2020. Up next, to end the show, we have Tommy Dreamer making his in-ring ECW debut against the Tasmaniac. Tommy... When they start the match, I wrote Tommy and the hip toss hop because he does the little hip toss and then the hop afterwards that, you know, you see so many times he's so green in this match, by the way.
Well, there was 5 letters that I couldn't wait to write down on this. So I know when I go back and I look at this notebook like 20 years from now, I will still chuckle at it. And them letters are IWCCW. This match was right out of Parsippany, New Jersey, at any Savoldi show that featured Curly Moe. But it couldn't have featured Zip, Zang, and Zap or whatever because Johnny Grunge was in a match earlier. But it could have had the Undertakers, Vic Steamboat. Yeah, I just couldn't wait to go, IWCCW.
Did you hear that? Not to get ahead, but you hear the guy at the end of the match? Like as the show was closing? Like even as it was fading out, the guy literally goes, "Go back to the Savolas, you fucking bum."
Oh, shit.
As Tommy's walking out, he says it. Like they're doing like the 3 guys are cheering for him and they're acting like Joey's like, "Oh, Tommy Dreamer, he's an upstanding guy," and you hear a guy go back to the Savolas, you fucking bum.
So you wish hunger and despair and homelessness on Tommy Dreamer. I didn't. Surprised somebody didn't yell, "Tony Rumble's hiring."
I didn't catch that. I'm glad you did that.
It was great
because I couldn't believe. I mean, not to jump too far ahead either, but I kind of know what was going on at this time. Like when Joey Styles was like, "Can you believe this? Tommy Dreamer is getting cheered." Kind of at the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being there, and I remember the reaction being like, "No, he's not."
Yeah, there were 3 guys. There were 3 guys standing up cheering Tommy Dreamer. 3, and they were acting like it's like a Ric Flair retirement match or something. It was just terrible.
If Ric Flair ever retired on the same show that had a main event of Bad Company and Public Enemy, that would have been the reaction. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with this match, and that's only because, like I said, it was a total IWCCW match, basic match. The spots weren't bad, and I couldn't believe that they started to get it towards the end. I mean, Aaron, did you see any of that? Like when they kind of spilled to the floor and stuff, and
yeah,
like they started getting like, we needed to do something here. Like,
they get these people up off their asses.
They're not with me, I mean, they're not with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a little more of that, a more aggressive style.
There was a Sabu chant mid-match, which probably told. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say a Sabu chant in mid-match, which probably told Tommy and Taz everything they needed to know. These people are not behind this baby face; they want the other guy to come out. So like you said, they were losing the crowd, and they went to the outside. And go ahead, Aaron. You had something to say there.
I was gonna say the one other note I have is that at one point during the match, Joey Styles says the Tasmaniac is a nasty-looking little creature.
And he wonders how they send him over to Japan.
Yeah.
They put him in a shark cage and send him on a cargo plane. Am I expected to believe that?
As he's yelling at the crowd with his Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, as he's trying to give birth to Hook. Yeah, some of that's crap. That's fucked up. But I mean, again, like I said, Joey was really, really trying to get Dreamer over in this match.
Mm-hmm.
About being the young, this young guy, young rookie. And Tommy, I started in 92, and Tommy started in 89, so he only had a couple years on me. So it wasn't a whole lot of difference, but he probably worked more than I did, in them couple years. So the match was fine, but again, we're going back to nobody knows what Paulie wants. Like they don't, what's the old saying? You can't see the forest in the trees or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because Paulie's not saying, "Hey, how about you go out there and rough it up a little bit," or do something. So, it's like it's a basic match, but the Taz did a couple of them cool ass throws, right?
So you tell me, you can put me in my place if you want, Chad, but Not for me not being a worker. I wrote in my notes here how green Tommy looked during this match. So you told me you said he debuted in '89 or he started in '89.
That's what he claims.
4 years in, shouldn't he be better than this? Like, am I wrong? Like, I've just like he looked to me in this match like he'd only been wrestling for like 6 months. Like, it just he didn't click or something. I don't know.
Well,
or is it because of who he was working with, or?
Well, you got to look at it because for him working being 4 years in the business, that doesn't mean that he's wrestling every single night or even once a week.
Right.
4 years in the business could dwindle down to 6 months in a matter of just a calendar. That you've had this many matches in 4 years. Because there wasn't territories in 91. Even though IWCCW was a thing, they weren't running, they weren't even running 3 shows a week.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there's a month at the time. So there wasn't, and the work there was out there, all Dreamer's doing is working guys that are on the same level as him. So that's not going to help him. So, that 4 year, like the same thing with me, the 2 years or whatever, the year and a half that I've been working when I got there, that could have only been, I may have only had 6 matches,
right?
Before I got there. So it's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of like a skewed system. Is like, what are you going to do? Not give Tommy credit for wrestling a battle royal in '89? He was the first guy in, first guy out, but it was in '89. You know what I mean? What are you going to say? No, it didn't happen.
Taz wins this match with a suplex off the top after Tommy gets crotched. We begin the story of Tommy and his nuts in ECW right here. It begins in his first ECW match as he loses.
Was cool, though.
Yeah, no, it was a great spot, and it was an awesome looking suplex too. And Tasmaniac gets the victory. Overall, what do we think of the match, guys? Overall,
I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think that they put the right guy over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Taz needed a win after the Sabu thing from last week.
Yeah.
It just makes like I don't know if Tommy would have gotten, like, maybe the character that they were trying to get with Tommy Dreamer doesn't need to win his first match. He needs to be the guy fighting from behind.
Or the bum needs to go back to Savoldi.
Yeah,
that would have been great if that was the gimmick that they were trying to build for Tommy Dreamer. But we still got the tag team of Tommy Dreamer and Johnny Gunn to go. So before they even pretend like there's an idea for Tommy Dreamer, which there's no chance that Paul was like, you're going to be this hardcore whatever guy. We still got a whole nother round on the merry-go-round of Tommy Dreamer and how he gets there, right? I mean, am I missing something?
No, yeah, we get them trying to do ECW's Z-Man. I mean, I guess is the best way to describe it, So overall, go ahead. Sorry.
I just thought it was a basic match, not bad. And I really thought that I mean, we were going to be seeing more Tommy Dreamer just based upon Joey Styles's commentary. And then even when Taz screwed him at the finish for the thing, he was like, I really thought Tommy had him. And I was like, okay, well, they really got something for Tommy. And then when they probably realized, well, it ain't gonna be this,
right?
It was good. It was really good for that time period and what it was. They didn't know any better, and there wasn't a measuring stick for ECW. Yeah, I guess
getting their feet wet here, trying to get their legs under them.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So overall, what did we think of the show as a whole, guys?
I gave it a C+.
All right, elaborate.
I just nothing other than that first match being longer than what it needed to be. This is the first show where I watched the whole show as an entire show, and other than Maddie, nothing offended me. Nothing was just like this. Why am I watching this? Why did they put this on their show? Like nothing was just bad other than stupid ass Maddie and the Hound. Other than that, I mean, everything else was just it was just a good, solid show in my opinion.
Well, good is subjective. Solid's another point. I agree with that. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was bad. Nothing was good at the same time. On my end, maybe except for no, nothing was good. I don't have anything good. I'm gonna give it a solid. I'm just trying to scan real quick and see if somebody's name just jumps out at me, and I go, okay, maybe it's not enough. Yeah, I'll give it a D-. It's only because of the performance that how great I made Snuka look.
And you did. You made him look like a monster.
I mean,
You made him look like a monster.
I wonder how many bookings I got. I got Snuka after that match. Promoters are calling from all over the world going, I saw what you did to that young upstart lion from ECW. We'd love for you to come out to the Pacific Northwest.
Chad Austin and myself were just TCB taking care of business, brother.
Yeah. I could have been the Metal Maniac. Yeah.
Well, here's the preview. WWE Network's preview for next week's ECW. It'll be October 26th, 1993. And apparently we're going to get to see the later that week match. Because on this edition of Eastern Championship Wrestling, Terry Funk joins the corner of JT Smith when he takes to the ring to challenge Shane Douglas for the ECW Heavyweight Championship. We've already seen the finish, but we're going to see the match next week, apparently. Shane Douglas and JT Smith for the ECW title. The Public Enemy make a statement at the expense of Bad Company. And here you go, Aaron. Sal Balomo returns to get even with the Rockin' Rebel.
Whoa.
Sal has escaped the park, and he's headed back to the ECW arena.
More like the kids have escaped the park. Like,
and I hope Sal's still wearing that get-up he was wearing at the park.
Well, there's no way. I cannot see them showing the whole match next week.
JT and Shane.
That might be the teaser to get you to watch the show, but something happens in the match. There's no way. Why would they do that? They just showed it.
You're on next week's show too, Chad.
Oh, who am I beating?
I was just looking. It is Chad Austin and Donnie Allen against Bad Breed next week.
I'm the sex appeal next week.
Bye-bye, Hervé. Hasta la vista, baby.
Donnie found somebody better.
Vamonos.
All right. So that being said, we will wrap up here. But again, want to remind everybody, if you have not yet, follow us on Twitter at Reliving Extreme. Follow Chad at Chad Austin Demera on Twitter. Check out Chad's Video Vault on the Facebook. Saw a few pictures from that today, some Starcades. Starcade 88. It's a good show. And also check out Aaron's group, Trading Chops. That's a fun one too. It's not necessarily a wrestling group, but lots of fun in that group as well. We got lots of interaction with the Reliving the Extreme podcast that you can join out there in podcast land. I almost said radio land and podcast land. Anybody else want to plug anything else here while I'm doing plugs?
It's always great just to have feedback. Like, for the fans that are on Twitter and then they follow on the group. I mean, maybe they have, if they watch along, maybe they have suggestions and stuff that they saw that we didn't see, or maybe they have some questions. Listeners' questions aren't fucking, they're not banned. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If anybody knows anything about Willie Scoop Watts, hit me up. We'll share it on the show.
I'm sure it ain't Mr. Bill. Because you know what? Now that I realize his name is Willie Watts. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't even put that together until now. Oh yeah. Was Paul part of that cut?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, never mind. I didn't even put two and two together because I've never said Bill Watts' name and called him William or Willie. I just never thought of that. But now that I was just like, oh my God, a black guy named Willie Watts.
It just came in there like an Oklahoma stampede, didn't
And
it?
it's gone too, like an Oklahoma tornado.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us again this week on Reliving the Extreme as we continue our journey through the history of ECW, and we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks, guys.